Outlander fans were left stunned after a jaw-dropping revelation from Sam Heughan shook the fandom to its core. In a recent interview, the Scottish actor finally opened up about the decades-long speculation surrounding his undeniable chemistry with co-star Caitriona Balfe. His words sparked an emotional storm across social media, leaving fans questioning what's real and what belongs only to the world of television. For years, Sam and Caitriona's on-screen portrayal of Jamie and Claire Fraser has been hailed as one of the most captivating love stories ever seen on television. The deep connection, passionate glances, and almost magnetic bond between the two actors have fueled endless rumors that something more must exist behind the cameras. And now, Heughan has confessed, "My feelings for Caitriona are real." The admission sent fans into a frenzy, but Sam didn't stop there. He continued with a striking clarification. "We've shared a journey like no other. My admiration and love for her as a person are genuine, but our relationship is built on respect and friendship. It's important people understand that what we have is unique, yet not what everyone assumes." Caitriona, who has often had to address similar speculation, has previously emphasized her deep friendship with Sam, describing him as one of the most important people in her life. Married since 2019, Balfe has always drawn a firm line between her personal life and the characters she brings to life on screen. Still, Heughan's confession reignited passionate discussions among the Outlander fanbase. Some celebrated his honesty, while others worried it might create further tension for Balfe in her private life. On Twitter, one fan wrote, "We always knew their connection was more than just acting. Sam finally confirmed it." Meanwhile, another responded, "Respect and friendship can be real feelings too. This proves how special their bond really is." Industry insiders note that such statements could reshape how audiences view the final season of Outlander. With the beloved show nearing its conclusion, every emotional scene between Jamie and Claire may now be scrutinized with even greater intensity. What's clear is that Sam Heughan's candid words have reminded fans why the Jamie and Claire love story resonates so deeply, because the bond between the actors themselves is rooted in something authentic, even if not romantic.
The sweeping success of Outlander, the historical drama adapted from Diana Gabaldon's best-selling novels, has not only redefined period romance on television but also reawakened international interest in Scottish history. With its breathtaking Scottish landscapes, emotionally charged storylines, and magnetic leads in Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe, the series has cultivated a loyal global fanbase who do not merely watch the show but live it, traveling to filming locations, embracing Scottish traditions, and immersing themselves in the turbulent past depicted on screen. Yet this passionate enthusiasm has recently collided with controversy, as Outlander fans have been accused of engaging in disrespectful actions at Culloden Battlefield, the historic site where the Jacobite army was defeated in 1746 in one of the bloodiest battles on British soil. Culloden is not merely a backdrop for Outlander's narrative. It is sacred ground, a place where thousands of men lost their lives in a tragic clash that changed Scotland forever. For historians, descendants of the fallen, and visitors who come to pay respects, the battlefield is a solemn memorial. The National Trust for Scotland, NTS, which manages the site, has long sought to preserve its sanctity while educating the public about its significance. However, with the rise of Outlander tourism, the site has seen an influx of visitors whose behavior has sometimes clashed with the reverence expected of such a place. Reports have emerged of fans picnicking on the graves of the fallen, staging elaborate cosplay photo shoots in full Highland regalia, and even leaving modern trinkets and memorabilia that bear no relation to the battle's history. For many Scots, and for those who view Culloden as a place of mourning, these actions are seen as deeply troubling. The backlash erupted after photos circulated on social media showing groups of fans recreating Outlander scenes directly on the clan grave markers, some posing romantically on the stones erected to commemorate the Highland soldiers who perished. Others were seen leaving flowers, notes, and tokens not in remembrance of the Jacobite dead but as offerings to fictional characters such as Jamie Fraser, Sam Heughan's beloved Highland warrior. Critics argue that such actions blur the line between fiction and reality in ways that dishonor the memory of real men who gave their lives during the battle. The National Trust for Scotland has voiced its concerns on multiple occasions, reminding visitors that Culloden is not a theme park but a war grave. In official statements, the Trust has emphasized that while it appreciates the renewed global interest in Scottish heritage brought by Outlander, it is essential for visitors to remember that Culloden is first and foremost a place of solemn reflection. Yet despite repeated appeals, instances of inappropriate behavior continue to surface. This has led to growing frustration among locals, historians, and descendants of Jacobite soldiers who feel that the commercialization of tragedy undermines the battlefield's sacred status. Clash between fandom and history is particularly complex because Outlander itself has made Culloden a central part of its story. The series' second season built toward the fateful Battle of Culloden, dramatizing the doomed Jacobite uprising and the tragic separation of Jamie and Claire. For many fans, visiting Culloden is akin to stepping into the emotional climax of their favorite series, a pilgrimage to the very ground where love and sacrifice were tested by history. Yet therein lies the tension. While fans may view it as a romanticized destination tied to their beloved fictional characters, to Scots it remains a site of profound national trauma. This disconnect has fueled heated debates about the role of pop culture in shaping historical memory. The situation at Culloden is not unique in the broader landscape of dark tourism, where visitors flock to sites associated with tragedy, war, or death. Places like Auschwitz, Ground Zero in New York, and the Somme battlefields in France have all grappled with how to balance education, commemoration, and tourism. In each case, there have been controversies over tourists taking selfies, engaging in frivolous behavior, or failing to grasp the gravity of the sites. What makes the Outlander controversy stand out is the added layer of fiction. Unlike war memorials tied solely to history, Culloden now draws visitors whose understanding of the site comes primarily from a television drama. For them, the battlefield is both a real place and a fictional setting, which can lead to behavior that historians find troubling. Local communities near Inverness, where Culloden is located, have expressed growing unease at the influx of fandom-driven tourism. While the economic benefits are undeniable, hotels, restaurants, and tour operators have all profited from Outlander's success, there is a sense that something vital is being lost in translation. Residents report seeing busloads of tourists arriving in tartan costumes, eager to snap photos but seemingly unaware of the deeper historical significance. Some even treat the battlefield as an extension of the Outlander set, staging elaborate reenactments that, while well-meaning, ignore the fact that the land is a mass grave. Historians have been vocal about the need to protect Culloden from being trivialized. They argue that while pop culture can serve as a gateway to history, it should not replace the historical truth with romantic fantasy. The Jacobite soldiers who died at Culloden were real men, many of them young, poor, and fighting for a cause that ended in devastating defeat. Their graves are marked with simple stones that stand as a stark reminder of the cost of rebellion. To use these markers as props for fictional love stories, critics argue, is to diminish their sacrifice. Controversy has also divided Outlander fans themselves. Many in the fandom are horrified by reports of disrespectful behavior and have called for greater awareness and sensitivity when visiting historic sites. Fan groups online have shared guidelines urging fellow travelers to approach Culloden with reverence, to learn about the history, and to refrain from treating the battlefield as a photo opportunity. Some have even organized charitable donations to support the preservation of the site, recognizing that their love for the series should not come at the expense of historical respect. Yet others defend the actions of fans, arguing that leaving flowers or tributes to fictional characters is simply an expression of love for a story that has touched millions. This clash within the fandom reflects the larger struggle to reconcile the imaginative pull of Outlander with the solemn reality of Culloden. Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe have themselves weighed in on the importance of respecting Scottish history. Both actors have spoken in interviews about the emotional weight of filming at Culloden and the responsibility they felt to honor the memory of those who died. Heughan, in particular, has emphasized the need for fans to appreciate the historical truth beyond the fiction, reminding them that while Jamie Fraser may be a fictional hero, the men who fought and died at Culloden were real. Their words have been widely circulated within the fandom, but whether they will be enough to curb inappropriate behavior remains to be seen. Controversy also raises questions about the role of media and tourism industries in shaping visitor behavior. Tour companies frequently market Outlander-themed packages that include Culloden as a highlight, sometimes framing it more as a romantic destination than a war grave. Souvenir shops sell Outlander merchandise alongside historical books, blurring the lines between fact and fiction. Critics argue that this commercial approach encourages fans to treat Culloden as an extension of the television world rather than as a sacred site. The National Trust has attempted to counter this by offering educational programs, guided tours, and exhibitions that emphasize the historical context. Yet with social media driving so much of fan tourism, even the best efforts can be undermined by the viral appeal of selfies and dramatized reenactments. Despite the backlash, the controversy may also present an opportunity. Some historians see the popularity of Outlander as a chance to engage new audiences with Scottish history. They argue that while inappropriate behavior must be addressed, the passion of fans can be redirected into deeper learning and preservation efforts. Educational campaigns, partnerships with fan groups, and carefully designed tours could help bridge the gap between fiction and history, ensuring that visitors leave with a greater understanding of the Jacobite cause and the true significance of Culloden. This approach would require collaboration between the entertainment industry, heritage organizations, and the fan community. If successful, it could transform what has been a source of controversy into a model for responsible cultural tourism. At its heart, the debate over Outlander fans at Culloden reflects the enduring tension between memory and entertainment, reverence and romance. It asks difficult questions about how we remember the past, how we honor the dead, and how popular culture shapes our collective imagination. For many Scots, Culloden will always be a place of grief and remembrance, a stark reminder of a lost cause and the human cost of rebellion. For fans of Outlander, it is also a place of love, loss, and fictional sacrifice. Navigating these two truths is not easy, but it is essential if the site is to remain both accessible and respectful. As the controversy continues to unfold, one thing is clear: Culloden Battlefield is more than just a filming location or a tourist attraction. It is a sacred landscape that carries the weight of history, a place where fiction meets reality in powerful and sometimes troubling ways. Whether fans will learn to temper their enthusiasm with reverence remains to be seen, but the debate itself has already sparked important conversations about the responsibilities of fandom, the preservation of heritage, and the delicate balance between honoring the past and enjoying the stories that bring it to life. Sam Heughan in floods of tears as he opens up on Outlander finale. For more than a decade, Outlander has held audiences spellbound with its sweeping romance, historical drama, and the unshakable love story of Jamie and Claire Fraser. The heart of this phenomenon stands Sam Heughan, whose portrayal of Jamie has transformed him into an international star, admired not only for his physical embodiment of the Highland warrior but for the emotional depth and vulnerability he has poured into the role. Now, as the beloved series draws to a close, Heughan himself has revealed that he has been left in floods of tears as he reflects on the end of a journey that has defined much of his professional and personal life. His emotional openness has struck a chord with fans around the world who are themselves grieving the end of a show that has become more than just entertainment. It has been a lifeline, a comfort, and a community. When news of the finale broke, anticipation and sadness mingled in equal measure across the fandom. Social media platforms filled with tributes to the show, with fans sharing stories of how Outlander carried them through difficult times or introduced them to a newfound love of Scottish history and culture. Yet it was Sam Heughan's candid revelations about his personal response to filming the final scenes that brought the emotional weight of the finale into sharp focus. In interviews, Heughan described how he found himself overwhelmed during the last days on set, often breaking into tears as he realized that he was saying goodbye not only to Jamie Fraser but to an entire world that had been his creative home for over a decade. Heughan's tears, far from surprising his co-stars, were shared by many of them, with Caitriona Balfe, Richard Rankin, and Sophie Skelton also acknowledging the deep sense of loss that came with closing such a monumental chapter. For Heughan, however, the pain was particularly acute. Jamie Fraser is not just another role. He is a character that has become part of the actor's identity. Since the series premiered in 2014, fans have associated Heughan so closely with Jamie that separating the man from the role seems almost impossible. The actor himself admits that Jamie's courage, loyalty, and resilience have shaped him profoundly, teaching him lessons about love, sacrifice, and endurance that he will carry long after the cameras stop rolling. In discussing the finale, Heughan recounted how certain scenes brought him to his knees emotionally. Without revealing specific spoilers, he spoke of the power of filming Jamie's final moments with Claire, scenes infused with both heartbreak and hope. He described how the intensity of those moments broke through the professional boundaries actors often maintain, leaving him sobbing long after the director had called cut. For viewers, his words offer a glimpse into the extraordinary emotional investment that went into bringing this love story to life, reminding fans that the raw emotions they feel while watching are mirrored by the actors themselves. The finale of Outlander is not just the end of a television series. It is the conclusion of a cultural phenomenon that has transformed the way audiences engage with historical romance on screen. Adapted from Diana Gabaldon's novels, the series transported viewers from the Scottish Highlands of the 18th century to revolutionary America, weaving together romance, war, family, and time travel into a tapestry unlike anything else on television. Along the way, Heughan and Balfe's portrayals of Jamie and Claire became iconic, their chemistry so palpable that fans across the globe champion them as one of the greatest television couples of all time. To watch that story conclude is heartbreaking enough for fans, but to hear Heughan confess how deeply he grieved the ending amplifies the collective sorrow. Heughan's openness about his tears also underscores the unique bond between actor and audience that Outlander fostered. Fans often speak of Jamie and Claire as if they were real, and in many ways, Heughan and Balfe brought them to life with such sincerity that they transcended fiction. Heughan's tears are a testament to the authenticity of that connection. He is not simply stepping away from a role. He is saying goodbye to a relationship, a fictional marriage that has shaped his life for more than a decade. His grief mirrors the grief of millions of fans who feel as though they are losing close friends rather than just characters. Beyond the personal, Heughan's reflections invite fans to consider the broader legacy of Outlander. The series elevated Scottish culture and history onto the world stage, sparking tourism booms in the Highlands and drawing global attention to historical events such as the Battle of Culloden. For many viewers, the show was their first introduction to Scotland's turbulent past, and Heughan himself became an ambassador of sorts for his homeland. Through his charity work, his whiskey brand, and his constant celebration of Scotland's beauty, Heughan embodied the spirit of Jamie Fraser off-screen as well. The finale thus feels like the end not just of a story but of a cultural wave that changed the way people around the world view Scotland. The actor's tears also reveal the toll of dedicating such a significant portion of one's life to a single role. Heughan was in his mid-30s when he began playing Jamie, and now, a decade later, he has grown older alongside the character. He has spoken about how strange it feels to step away from a routine that has defined his career for so long, likening it to losing a part of himself. His grief is not only about saying goodbye to Jamie, but about saying goodbye to a chapter of his own life. For many actors, moving on from a long-running role can be bittersweet, but in Heughan's case, the connection is so profound that the end feels almost like a personal bereavement. Fans have responded with an outpouring of empathy, flooding social media with messages of support for Heughan. Many have shared their own stories of crying alongside him, describing how the finale left them inconsolable but grateful. Some fans even created online vigils, lighting candles, or hosting virtual gatherings to watch the final episode together, turning their grief into collective rituals of farewell. The shared emotion between actor and audience has reinforced the sense that Outlander was never just a television show but a community bound together by love, history, and story. Even as he weeps, Heughan has also spoken of gratitude. He has expressed deep appreciation for Diana Gabaldon, whose novels gave birth to Jamie Fraser, for Caitriona Balfe, his partner in storytelling, for the crew and producers who made the show possible, and for the fans who have stood by him for more than a decade. His tears, he insists, are not only about sadness but about gratitude for having been given the chance to play a role that touched so many lives. Heughan's acknowledgement of this gratitude transforms his tears into something cathartic, a way of closing the chapter with both sorrow and appreciation. What lies ahead for Heughan remains a subject of great interest. Already a best-selling author and successful entrepreneur, he has hinted at future acting projects that will challenge him in new ways. Yet he admits that nothing will ever compare to Jamie Fraser. The character is, in his own words, once in a lifetime. Fans understand this, and while they eagerly anticipate Heughan's future endeavors, they too recognize that his connection to Jamie will never fade. For them, Jamie Fraser will always live on, both in the pages of Gabaldon's novels and in the unforgettable performance Heughan gave over nearly a decade. The image of Sam Heughan in floods of tears over the Outlander finale has become emblematic of the end of an era. Captures the profound emotional weight of saying goodbye to a story that has changed lives, to a role that has defined a career,